This question deals with volume. Now, volume means space occupied by something solid. As you can see, this is a flat object. It's a region. At most, it can occupy area space. Area space means space occupied by a flat object. So what we have to do, we have to imagine that this particular shape is rotated over the x-axis. So that means whatever shape we have, that shape would be like this, a solid. If it's rotated on the x-axis, it looks like this. It's a solid. So that's what we do whenever we are finding a volume. We are imagining that it becomes a solid and we are finding the volume of the solid. Now, how do you find the volume? What happens? We take a strip of this. So when we take a strip from this, it looks like a cylinder. If we cut this very thin slice, it will be a very thin cylinder like this. And the cylinder has a radius which is the y-axis, so this is y is the radius, and it is so thin we call the height of the cylinder dx. D means delta, very small amount of x. So that is the height of the radius, and you know the volume of a cylinder is pi r squared. R is y and h is dx. So pi y squared dx is going to be pi y squared dx. Now this is so thin, you have to add up all the thin slices of cylinders and summation. So this is summation pi y squared dx. Now summation is integration. Integration is more continuous. It's not discrete. It is continuous form of summation, starting from suppose this point A and ending till the region B. So A to B pi y squared dx. So this is what volume means. Volume means basically adding up all the cylinders. So first of all, when we find the volume of this after it has been rotated from the limit starting from 0 to pi by 4, so question number A, the volume would be volume starting from limit 0 to pi by 4. If we add up all the cylinders, it would be pi y squared dx. So that is the rule. So this is going to be 0 to pi by 4. So pi y squared is going to be, they have given an equation. So that is x sine x plus cos x. So the whole thing is whole squared and we have dx. So now we have to express it in a certain way. So if you write it in this way, so 0 to pi by 4, let me bring the pi outside. So if you do whole square, it is going to be x squared and sine x plus cos x whole squared. So now if you do a plus b whole squared, it is going to be, so pi 0 to pi by 4 x squared. So a plus b whole squared is going to be a squared, which is sine squared x plus 2ab. So 2 sine x cos x plus b squared. B squared is cos squared x dx. So what we have over here is, if you use the identities, you can see that 2 sine x cos x is the identity sine 2x. This is a very important identity that we need for integration, and sine squared plus cos squared, that is 1. So we know that identity from the rule of C2. So this would be 1 plus sine twice x dx. So and that the expression is proved. So we can just arrange it the way they have asked us to. We can take the pi back inside because that is the format they asked for. So it would be pi x squared 1 plus sine twice x dx. In question number B, we actually have to do the integration and find the volume. So even if you're unable to show the expression, doesn't matter. You can just take this and do question number B. So let's break this down. We can write 0 to pi by 4. So pi x squared into 1 is pi x squared plus pi x squared times sine twice x and dx. Let's separate this. So 0 to pi by 4 pi x squared dx plus 0 to pi by 4 pi x squared sine twice x. It really helps if you separate the sum, because that way you can focus on a particular part of the sum. So the first one, now the first part is very easy to integrate. So we can just always keep the constant outside. So we can integrate x squared as x to the power 3 by 3, 0 to pi by 4, and I'll deal with this later. So 0 to pi by 4 x squared sine twice x dx. So I'm going to bring the pi outside also over here. So this turns out to be, if we put pi by 4, this would be pi by 4 cubed by 3 minus 0. and this is 0 to pi by 4 x squared sine twice x dx. So this turns out to be pi cubed by 64. So there is a pi outside, and this turns out to be pi cubed divided by 4 cubed is 64. 64 divided by 3. So this turns out to be 192, and we have this pi 0 to pi by 4 x squared sine twice x dx. This pi is outside. Now we obviously know that this is going to be integration by parts. Integration by parts has some very common structure. One is x e to the power x, or another version could be x squared e to the power x. Then it could be x sine x, or x squared sine x. It could be x ln x, that sort of thing. It could be x squared ln x. There is a very common structure where you can look at it and know this is going to be by parts. So the first thing that we do over here, we can write for without the limit I equals to integration of x squared sine twice x. So without the limit, let's do this, and we're going to use integration by parts for integrating this part. So remember this rule. The rule is, if you have to integrate something, the first part is u and the other part is dv by dx. How do you choose which one is u and which one is dv by dx? It's not obvious. It's not like differentiation that the first one is u, the second one is v. It's not like that. You use this acronym LATE, L for logarithm and A for algebra, T for trigonometry, and on and on. So A is here, x squared, and sine twice x is over here, trigonometry. So it is obvious that u is going to be one that is getting the preference, which is x squared. So what is the formula? The formula is uv minus integration of v du by dx, and you do dx. So that's what it is. So that means when we write u is x squared and dv by dx is sine twice x. So if you want to find v, that is going to be integration of dv by dx. That's what it is going to be. So sine 2x is going to be integration of sine 2x is minus cos 2x divided by 2. Remember the chain rule. That is v minus integration of, this is going to be v now. So v is minus cos 2x by 2, and du by dx is the derivative of u, which is x squared. So this is going to be twice x. And we have dx. So now we have minus x squared by 2 cos 2x. This minus and this minus, if we bring it outside, it becomes plus. This 2 and this 2 cancels, and we get x cos 2x dx. Now one thing you have to remember, when we have the x squared form, so we have to do by parts twice, because now we will always have this form, the x form. So when you have x squared sine x, you will always get this x sine x, or the first degree form. So now we are stuck with another sum by parts, which is x cos 2x. We have to do by parts again. So let's do this. So this is going to be minus x squared by 2 cos twice x plus, now this is by part sum. So again, this is going to be uv. So by LATE, u is x, v is, remember, this is dv by dx. Cos 2x is dv by dx. So this is going to be, if you want to find v, you're going to do integration. So this is going to be sine twice x by 2 minus integration of v. V is going to be sine twice x by 2. Now this time the x disappears. Du by dx, derivative of x is 1. So now we can rest assured this sum is completed. So x squared by 2 cos twice x plus x by 2 sine twice x minus, now if you bring the half outside, sine twice x, the integration of sine twice x is going to be minus cos twice x by 2, and we will have a plus c because this is indefinite integral. X squared by 2 cos twice x plus x by 2 sine twice x minus minus plus 1 by 4 cos twice x plus c. So this is the integral, but the sum is not done yet. Remember, what we are doing over here was pi of this thing 0 to pi by 4 x squared sine twice x. If we don't have a limit, without the limit we found the integral. Now we have to plug this integral back into the sum. So let's get back to the sum. So let me continue over here. Hence, volume equals to pi cubed by 192 plus pi. Now the integration of x squared sine twice x is this thing that we just found, minus x squared by 2 cos twice x plus x by 2 sine twice x plus 1 by 4 cos twice x. We don't have to give the plus c anymore because now we have a limit 0 to pi by 4. Let's give the limit 0 to pi by 4 and let's do the calculation. So pi times pi cubed is going to be pi to the power 4 by 192 plus pi. Now let's put the value. First of all, let's put, this is going to be a rather long calculation. Okay. So if we put pi by 4 first, it would be minus pi by 4 whole squared by 2 goes to pi by 4 plus x by 2 means pi by 4 by 2 sine 2 times pi by 4 plus 1 by 4 cos 2 pi by 4. So we have this minus 0. So if there is a coefficient x, the whole thing is going to be 0 because 0 times 0 is 0 times anything is 0. So this term is going to be 0, this term is going to be 0. So it will be 0 plus 1 by 4, 2 into 0 cos 0. So this is what we get. Be very careful because there is a pi outside. So pi to the power 4 by 192 plus pi. Now let's do this calculation. So there's a minus over here. This will be minus pi squared by 16 divided by 2 is going to be 32. Now cos pi by 2. Cos pi by 2 is 0. So this terms become 0. Then we have pi by 4 by 2 which is pi by 8. Now sine pi by 2. Sine pi by 2 is 1. Then we have plus 1 by 4 cos pi by 2. 2 times pi by 4 is pi by 2, 90. Cos 90 is 0. Minus 0 and 0. This is going to be 1 by 4 cos 0 is 1. Let's further simplify this. Pi to the power 4 192 plus pi. So this is going to be pi by 8 minus 1 by 4. If you multiply, this would be pi to the power 4 192 plus pi squared by 8 minus pi by 4.